Hello, fellow explorers. What's coming for you in the week ahead? How can you look ahead to get a sense of what the themes might be coming up for you? How can you meet the lessons and challenges, the blessings that are coming for you with your best foot forward? And most importantly of all, how can you align yourself to best receive all of the good things that are coming for you this week? Let's go ahead and jump on into this weekly tarot pick a card reading and find out. Hello, fellow explorers. Welcome to the Mystic Lemur. My name is Rita, and it is my honor to be your guide through the messages in this reading. Welcome back to all of those of you who've been coming again and again, and to those of you who are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. So for today, we are looking at the energies that surround us in the week coming ahead. What are the main themes we might see emerging to us? What are the challenges, the lessons, the blessings? How can we best situate ourselves to receive those things that are coming for us and make the best out of them? So there are timeless elements to this reading, so I do encourage you and invite you to take whatever resonates for you with the messages that come through. However, at the time of this reading, we are coming into the 20th through the 26th of January. So this is when the sun will be finally moving into Aquarius from Capricorn. And of the energies that were surrounding us through this recent Capricorn season, lots of restriction, lots of blockages, lots of old energies coming to the surface to be cleansed and renewed with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, massive lunar eclipse and our full moon in Cancer. So lots of stuff has been bubbling up. So many of us will see this as quite a relief to be out of the restriction of Capricorn and back into that expansive, adventurous spirit of Aquarius. And we'll definitely very likely notice that shift because there is such a stark difference between Aquarius and Capricorn. We also will be having a new moon coming up at the end of the week at around Friday, Saturday, depending on where you are in the world. So another intention setting opportunity to, again, align with where you're going and, reconnect and check in from what's been emerging to you through this new moon, full moon in Cancer and through the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto. So letting those things bubble up and out, and then setting what your intention is to renew that space and to refill that space with something that is serving you now that that clearing has come up and through. So we'll first go into the collective reading, have a look at what the energies, the main themes of the week are likely to be, and then we'll do a little bit more targeted reading with the pick-a piles. So we will start off with our collective reading. What is coming for us in the collective and the week coming ahead? What can we expect to be meeting us? What are the themes? What are the lessons and blessings that might be emerging to us in the next week or so? Zooming in through spirit into the first part of the upcoming week, we have the 10 of Pentacles. All right, so massive completions for many of us, leveling up in the financial domain, or also possibly with this sort of Capricorn, Saturn energy that's still finishing up, rounding out at the beginning of the week, that maturity. So coming to maturity, maybe coming to understand some of the old patterns, the old programs that we've inherited from our ancestors, from our elders, around money and around productivity, that we can really set the intention to complete shedding and complete releasing so that we have that new space to fill in with the new moon that's coming up. What else do we have? We have the King of Swords coming up for the beginning of the week. So the King of Swords, another card about maturity, but this time in the domain of the mind. So being very clear about what those beliefs are that are emerging to us at this beginning of the week. And the imagery of this card, we have this king who's sitting on his throne, and he's leaning on this sword. He's not active. He's not, ready to use it in battle. He's just sort of like waiting he's in a space where he could use that sword very careful or very quickly if needed, but it's sort of like active, just active observation. So sitting in a space, observing your mind, observing your beliefs, and coming into Aquarius, this is a sign that's all about air. So the air signs are also associated with the swords energy. So beginning to come into clarity about what you really want and what your mind is directing you to, through that sort of observing of what your mind is fluctuating around. For the middle of the week, we have the Five of Wands. So the fives in the minor arcana are challenge cards. So there could be some challenges in the way that we're using our energy coming up through the middle of the week. Really looking, it's more of like a sparring match rather than an outright battle. But really it is a test, sort of a test that might be coming up with our spirit. That's a little bit of more of that letting go of those restrictions of Capricorn and really looking into the existing patterns, the existing beliefs, and ways that you can level them up, ways that you can mature them, and ways that you can release them if they're not serving you anymore. And we also have, for the middle of the week, the Knight of Chalices. Yeah, so the Knight of Chalices, this is a card that is all about bringing the emotional body into service. The Knight of Chalices, Knights in the minor arcana suits, are all about bringing the energy of air or the mind and service. So the Knights are always in service to their kings and queens within the suit, the energy of the suit that they're in. So bringing your mind into service of how your emotional body is working, or bringing that emotional energies, again, that may be floating around since that lunar eclipse in Cancer a couple weeks ago, coming and letting those finally come to the surface. So the Knight of Cups is often romantic. This could be an indication of some romantic connections for people coming through. We also have Venus, who is currently in her exalted status in Pisces at this time. So Pisces, another water sign. Could be an indication that there's emotional fulfillment coming through in more of that connection with spirit and connecting with the romantic side of things. So even though the Knight of Chalices is traditionally the romantic, sort of the Tin Woodsman of the deck, the one who's all about heart and sentimentality and the beautiful things in life, the imagery of this particular card looks quite a lot like Scorpio. So also getting into some more of that subconscious energy that might be, again, bubbling to the surface and asking you to incorporate it, integrate it, and let it move forward, so that you don't have to be carrying those things that are no longer yours to carry. Coming up towards the end of the week, what can we be looking for as this new moon in Aquarius begins to emerge to us? We have strength. So coming into some more archetypal energy here with the inner strength, the strength that you possess. And this could be a really good indication that you are being, the whole collective really is being invited to tap into our inner strength. Again, coming into this energy of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about revolution and all about letting go of things that no longer serve, coming into your independence. So really relying upon your personal strength, whatever strength it is that you have, and really owning that. Owning what your power is, owning who you are, and owning your responsibility for the experiences that you create and the experiences that you manifest for yourself in your life. So yes, it is a co-creation. You're not the sole creator, but you are the most important creator, and you're the only one that you can control. So focus on doing what you can do. There's also the energy of Mother Nature that can be strict and really purging of things that are no longer serving. The sort of the Hindu goddess that is evocative of this card evokes is Durga. Again, that sort of scarier side of the divine feminine, that is that force of Mother Nature when, volcanoes erupt or when hurricanes hit, is like this massive destructive force. And the reason why it's destructive is because it is actively removing the things that are no longer serving you. So Durga is one who comes into battle against demons. So if there's something that you really, again, you can't quite shake from this Capricorn season that's really bogged you down, call in that energy of really putting those demons to rest and letting them no longer be demons but servants to you. So they're not controlling you, putting those demons on a leash and making sure that they're serving you rather than you're serving them. And finally, capping out the end of the week, we have Judgment in reverse. All right, so the Judgment card is also ruled by fire, and it is all about, coming to realize the truth behind the illusions that you've been seeing. So we've got the imagery of this group of people who are rising up from the grave at the clarion call of this angel who's calling them to rise up on Judgment Day. But they're still in this space of sort of wailing and gnashing of teeth, and they haven't quite realized they're being enlightened, they're being elevated. So coming up in reverse, this might be an indication that we need to, as a collective, be looking to develop our inner discernment as we're shifting from this old, claustrophobic, really restricted energy of all of this action that's been happening in Capricorn and really like bogging us down and making us feel like we can't do things, really turning that discernment, that judgment inward, and instead of coming to negative judgment of yourself, really just being evaluative, that sort of bringing back that observing the mind element of the King of Swords, and releasing those things that are keeping you from seeing the truth of your life, setting the intentions of allowing yourself to no longer be stuck in this box in the ground, but to rise up and to be free. Again, that Aquarian energy of liberation, of freedom, of independence, of releasing the binds of those structures that have kept us safe, but also kept us small. So choosing at the end of the week to manifest your best by being big, allowing yourself to be big, allowing yourself to be in alignment with your true life purpose. So those are the energies for the week ahead. In the collective reading, we'll go ahead and jump now into the more targeted pick-a-pile readings. All right, jumping into our pick-a-pile readings, we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. That is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Tapping into our inner beings, our deeper intuitive knowings, to allow the messages that will guide us through the next week to emerge to us by finding our comfortable seated position, so that we can allow our body and our mind and our energetic being to align and let that inner knowing step forward. Feeling that sense of roots growing deep into the earth beneath you, rooting down, deep, deep down, growing down through your feet, through your legs, through your sits bones, pulling that nourishing heart energy up from the core of Mother Earth, shooting that out through your stacked spine, shining out through the crown of your head as you take that cosmic consciousness light shining down through you and shining both out strongly through your open heart. Taking 3 mindful breaths to help you orient to the pile or piles that may be speaking to you. Bringing in our first deep belly inhale. And exhale. Deep belly breath in. And exhale. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Zeroing in on the pile or piles that may be speaking to you now. If you need a few more moments to let that knowing step forward, do please pause the video here. Otherwise, we'll jump into pile number 1. Pile number 1, what's coming for you in the week ahead? Let's jump right into it. We have, first, what are some of the major themes that are emerging for you in this week? What's sort of representing how you're approaching, how you're sitting into this week? We have the 5 of Pentacles. So the 5 of Pentacles is, again, another challenge card. As I mentioned in the collective reading, the 5s and the minor arcanas are about challenge. So you're facing some sense of challenge in how you are experiencing your physical existence, often to do with your money, but it also could be to do with how you're just existing within your daily life and the bare bones, really day-to-day, how you're existing in the public sphere, especially with this imagery of this card. So the traditional meaning has to do with scarcity mindset, but we have this woman who is modeling or striking a pose in front of the camera. So it could be that you're being asked to really look at how your persona and how you are acting in the business sphere, you're sort of like your persona of your business sphere is possibly business sphere is maybe giving you some sense of that you're not enough, that you're scarce, that there are scarce resources, that your time's scarce. Anything that's giving you this illusion of there's not being enough, that is an illusion. And it's something that might be really popping up strongly for you in this week. So what is some further insight we can offer to you, group number 1, as some of the challenges, some of the lessons that you're being asked to integrate in this week? We have the 4 of Wands in reverse. Yeah, so 4 of Wands upright. This is a card that's all about happy endings, unions. The 4s in the minor arcana are all about stable foundations coming up in reverse. Again, this could be tapping into this, if you're encountering a scarcity mindset, turning that inward, turning that energy of finding that happy ending for yourself, and looking to see how you can shed this cloak, shed this outer layer of darkness that might be following you around. It could be that you have been experiencing this layer of darkness and it's resistant to being shed because maybe you're not really addressing it. So the challenge that you're being asked to do is to allow yourself to have a happy ending. If you're finding that you are having this scarcity mindset that's making you think that you're not worthy or you're not capable of making your dreams come true, this is going to be a lesson that you're going to be asked to deal with. It might be a challenge that's going to come up for you in this week ahead. What are some of the unseen forces, the unseen subconscious or otherwise not something that's not coming to your attention quite yet that we can bring your attention to? Influences that are coming for you in the week ahead. We have the 7 of Wands in reverse. So 2 reversed energy cards here. So your energy again might be coming around this end of Capricorn season, really quite feeling stuck, blocked. And 7 of Wands, 7s in the minor arcana are another card about desires, really how your energy is being directed towards your desires. And with the image of this card, we have this fellow here who is looking to fight these wands here, these energetic beings around him with his mind. The sword represents the energy of the mind. So you may be experiencing again a lot of inner turmoil in sense of like your mind is resisting your spirit. And again, looking to really take note of how your desires are being directed by your action of your energy, how your energy is reflective of whether it's actually manifesting your desires, whether it's actually directed towards what your true desires are, or if you're sort of letting someone else or letting some illusion of not having enough prevent you from seeing what's actually in front of you. What is the outcome that we might expect to emerge for you, group number 1, on your current trajectory? We have the Ace of Wands in reverse. So again, that root of the mind with this sword in the stone, this sort of Excalibur energy. So the air signs here are represented in their sort of purest, most undiluted, undifferentiated form up in spirit. So this could be, again, speaking of this transition from the Capricorn energy of the earth into the Aquarian spirit, as what the sun is moving into Aquarius, and we have this new moon in Aquarius coming at the end of the week. So air signs would be, again, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Coming up in reverse, this indication is looking to me like a blockage in letting this come through, because we have all of these existing blocked, reversed cards for you with this lead-in from this scarcity mindset. So your scarcity mindset, if this is resonating for you, if you're really looking at what you don't have rather than what you do have, or looking at things that haven't come into your life yet, especially if you're setting up for your manifestations, setting up for how you're intending to bring your life into its next step with this new moon that's coming in, being very careful about how you're focusing your energy on things that you think or you perceive or you are aware of not yet having, because the more that you are aware of the not yet having, the more that you will continue to experience the not yet having. So trying to orient yourself to release that observation, which is true and it's valid and it's empirically correct, but you're looking instead to become more of a visionary, to lead with this inner knowing, this sort of inner insight, rather than just looking at the physical reality in front of you. So our advice that we can offer to you, group number 1, to help you manifest your best, to help you get through this and produce your best possible outcomes aligning with your inner being. What can you do to really reorient your perspective in the week ahead to help you get the best? We have the 9 of Swords in reverse. Yep. So 9 of Swords, this is a card that is all about anxiety. Coming up under 5 of Pentacles, anxiety about what you perceive you do not yet have. Coming up in reverse, got to find a way to release that anxiety. So it could just be taking a walk in the park, spending some time with people that you love, reading a good book, taking a bubble bath, anything that you can do to really be focused on the present moment and something that helps your mind float back up from a space of anxiety and doubt and fear to release, to relaxation, to acceptance, to neutrality, and eventually to happiness and bliss, right? So letting go, noticing when those anxiety stories start running and saying, thank you, anxiety. I noticed that you are here and you're trying to help me, but that's not what we're doing this week. What are some of the ways that you can turn these challenges into blessings in the week ahead? We have the Fool. So don't be afraid to take a leap of faith. So you will know, again, once you get yourself in that space of releasing that doubt, releasing that fear, releasing that anxiety, and your inner being can bubble up, you will know when that jump is right. You will know when that leap of faith is right. And it might be an inner leap. It might be coming to this sense, again, this Aquarian spirit, this revolutionary spirit of new beginnings, of new adventures, of new revolutionary paradigm shifting ideas, allowing for that to be what meets you in this week ahead, and meeting it with an open, optimistic heart. What are some of the additional unseen energies that you can call upon in the week ahead to help you get through and make the best out of what comes for you? We have the High Priestess. Yep, so we've got that crescent moon energy here. So again, might be a great time to think about what you want to manifest in this new moon. The High Priestess is all about coming into those unseen energies, coming into the subconscious, the things that are bubbling away behind the surface that you're not paying your attention to. And she's that space between the yin and the yang, between sort of like the thing that feels heavy and dark and the thing that feels light and happy. Because these polarities are, again, another illusion. She's that space that unifies them, that gray zone, and noticing that it's not that the light and the dark are fighting. It's not that the feminine and the masculine are having this battle. It's that there's this cycle that's going, and it's a dance rather than a battle. So just flipping that narrative enough that you can see your way into finding a path that makes these, unconnected things that seem random actually have a meaning and a purpose that you can follow through on this fool's journey that you're being invited to allow yourself to leap into through this beginning into this next week, and undoubtedly continuing on for quite some while afterwards. And our best advice for you, group number 1, for how you can make the best out of this week, we have the stars. Aquarius. This card is ruled by Aquarius, so this is going to be a good Aquarius season for you, group number 1. And if you are an Aquarian sun baby, happy birthday. That might be an indication that this is the right pile for you. The stars card is all about hope, new hope, seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, and really, knowing that you have enough, right? So she's got this unending flowing cup of water that is so overflowing and so unending that she can fill this entire pool. She doesn't have to worry about running out. So you don't need to worry about running out. Use your things judiciously, and if you're indeed on a budget, stay to the budget. But really notice the things that you do have. It could be a good exercise if you're worried about money in particular. A fun thing to do is to pretend like you have a spiritual bank account. And in this spiritual bank account, you have this magic $100 bill. And so you can spend this $100 bill on anything every day. And it's just, it automatically, it replenishes, it renews, just like this cup of water from the stars, from this Aquarius card. So every day you get to splurge in your mind, in your imagination, on this up to $100 value item. So when you imagine making this purchase, you really feel into it. You feel into it because your brain can't tell the difference between actual experience and imagined experience. So really imagining it with such vividity, with such a vivid color, again, that sort of Aquarian imagination really playing up to help you visualize having this thing, which can, again, get you more into the space of appreciation and gratitude for what you do have rather than what seems to be lacking. And the background energy for you throughout this week, the overall context for your group number 1, is the Two of Wands. So coming to balance with your energy here, and also planning. So the Two of Wands, again, is that the twos in the minor arcana are about bringing that spirit of the suit, so it's bringing that spirit of fire, of energy, out of the sort of ethereal realm and beginning to bring it into manifestation. So planning what you want to do, planning what you want your life to be, planning what you want this leap of faith to look like for you, and again, doing it with optimism. And our words of wisdom from the cards, or from the flowers, the cards of the flowers, for you group number 1, we have heart's ease, compassion. Tread a little more tenderly. So making sure that with these leaps of faith you take, letting yourself be gentle and kind. Kindness is free. We have peony, health. Focus on all parts to make the whole. Yep. So, noticing the connections that already do exist. Another thing to keep in mind, sort of the shadow side of Aquarius, is it's very, mind focused, and science is sort of what is really comfortable in this house. And one of the things that is really predominant about science, and it's a strength, is reductionism, right? So breaking things down into its pieces and trying to figure out how each individual piece works. But even though that has gotten us huge advances as a species, as a society, as a civilization, that's not the whole picture. We also need to keep a mind of the whole of things as well. So don't focus too much on individual pieces, especially don't focus on pieces that are making you feel really anxious. Instead, focusing on the totality of where you are, maybe taking some time to look back, because we've got this imagery of looking back to see the future in this overall context for your group number 1. Looking back to really celebrate how much progress you really have made, because you've changed. You will have changed. Even, now you're not the same as you were when you started watching this video. So just taking a moment to appreciate how well you're doing, and especially appreciate if you've got anything with your body or with your health or with your routines, bringing more of that Virgo energy in, that can support you at this time. And really focusing on holistic. So maybe a more holistic health approach might be something that you might be called to in this week. Group number 1, we finally have Jonquil, power. Take hold of what you know is yours. Yeah, so focusing on, again, those things that you already have, focusing on those things that are working well for you, bringing up the energy of the collective reading, that strength card, really focusing on the power that you do have, noticing that you do have power. You're not a victim, you're choosing, and you have the option to choose every moment. So making sure that you're using that option to your best advantage. And our words of healing wisdom for you, group number 1, we have master the step you are on. Mastery. So you're being called to become a master of whatever it is that's coming up for you that might be feeling a bit shaky, a bit anxiety provoking, and really knowing that the reason why this is coming up for you is because you're being asked to level up on it. And so again, calling in that tail end of Capricorn energy, leveling up, maturing that up, and stepping up to this new leading edge that you can take that leap. So that is what I have for you, group number 1. I would love to hear in the comments down below how this resonated for you, what this evoked for you, what do you think it's about, maybe how this manifested for you at the end of the week. And if you like this video, you might like to give it a like. And if you really hit the vibe of this video, you might like to hit that subscribe. I'd love to have you as a part of this growing community as this channel continues to evolve. I am so glad to have been your guide through these readings, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Until then, going on to group number 2. Okay, group number 2. What is coming for you in the next week, and how can you best meet it? Jumping right on in. What is sort of the major theme, the major sort of energies? How are you really stepping forward and meeting? What's the sort of general theme for you in the next week? We have the Knave of Chalices. So as I mentioned in collective reading, the Knaves are the pages. I mentioned this for the Knights, but for the pages, these are in the minor arcana. They bring into the court cards, adding the energy of earth, so of grounding, of manifesting, of making it physically real, the overall energy of the suit. So bringing a groundedness, bringing a new physicality, a new perspective. There's another thing that pages or the Knaves will do for your emotions. So you're in a space, I guess, again, could be tied in with what was coming up for you in the lunar eclipse in Cancer, something to do with how your emotions are being expressed in the world, and being called to really rethink some of that and reevaluate it, see what's really working for you, and maybe taking something in a new direction. Could also be an indication of a new romantic or a new close, intimate partnership that might be emerging for you in the next week. What are the main challenges or sort of main lessons that you're being asked to integrate in next week? We have, interesting. Yep, the 8 of Chalices in reverse. So the 8 of Chalices is another card, again, about evaluating where you are emotionally and whether it's suiting you or not. We have this imagery of this person who's taking this hike. Looks like he's been on the trail for quite a while with this tattered cloak, walking off into the wilderness, into the night. But we've got that full moon guiding him through the dark. And coming up in reverse, this could indicate that there's an internal habit of how you express or how you relate to your emotions that you need to be evaluating and seeing if it is indeed serving you, if you might be ready to step away from that. With the energy here, we also have in the middle of the week, there's going to be an event where Mars and Venus will be coming into a square, which might bring up a lot of really highly charged emotions. So that might be something that might be speaking to you. Group number 2. What are the unseen energies or the unseen forces that might be affecting you, impacting you in the week ahead? We have Justice in the numerology of 8, so really bringing that manifestation energy in. Justice is a card that is all about balance and about coming into equilibrium, right? So it's ruled by Libra, and Libra is bringing in that energy, again, of the air, so coming into this air season through Aquarius energy, but also to do with intimate partnerships, and to do with love, and to do with balance and harmony. So again, if this is coming up with how you're dealing with your intimate partnerships, how you're dealing with the close, important emotional ties in your life, these are the unseen forces that are going to be affecting you in the week ahead. And coming up with this archetypal energy here in the major arcana, this could be also pulling up some karmic relationships for you, group number 2. So I do have a reading about what karma you might be facing. I'll link that in the comments below. You might like to have a look at that if you haven't already, or you might need to have another look at it because it might be really popping up for you in the week ahead. And what can we offer to you, group number 2, is the likely outcomes that you might be facing in just the trajectory that you're on right now. Again, with knowing that you always can choose to change things and make them more in line with what your inner being really wants for you to experience. We have the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. So the 3 of Pentacles is a card that is all about creativity, all about production of, especially of things that are to do with visual arts or even collaborations. The imagery of this card is more about a single creator, but we have these sort of unseen, or maybe these spirit creators that are operating with you. And then the blue in this imagery always reminds me of speaking your truth, or really creating in a way that is expressing your truth. Coming up in reverse, this could be an indication that you are experiencing with this energy of dealing with close, intimate emotional ties. You might be having a feeling of challenge in speaking your truth to these people who matter a lot to you. You might be afraid of losing them, or you might be afraid of your relationship with them transforming in a way that is scary, or it's just like a new thing that's happening for you, and it is always happening for you, not to you. And so the outcome that we see for you on this current trajectory, again, knowing that you can change things, is that you might be having issues with speaking up and really expressing yourself in a fulfilling and grounded way with that pentacle energy. So if you do express yourself at this current trajectory, it might be in a way that is less in line with what you truly want to be saying. So what can we offer you, group number 2, to help you shift around this energy? If this is not something that seems like it suits you, how can you put your best foot forward to really get the most out of the week ahead? How can you reorient where you are and the themes in what you're approaching, the sort of the intentions that you're setting for the week ahead? We have the 5 of Chalices in reverse. Lots of emotional energy for you guys, group number 2. 5 of Chalices is a card, again, the 5s in the minor arcanas are all about challenge and challenging your emotions. So the imagery here, we have this man who's looking out over this river, looking very wistfully into the past. He might be sort of stuck in nostalgia and really focusing on these empty cups in front of him that don't seem to, they're gone. It seems like he's lost things that he really cared about, but he's not looking at these things that are behind him that are actually in his future, because he's still so focused on the past that he's not seeing that there's more coming for him in the future. And the traditional Rider-Waite imagery, we have the spilled cups. And I often think about, there's this sense of like, oh, I didn't get to drink those things that were in these cups, but maybe they were poison. Maybe these were things that weren't for you to begin with. So it's possibly a blessing in disguise that these things have fallen away. Coming up in reverse, the challenge could be that you are being asked to, again, think about those things that may be transforming in your intimate emotional relationships and allowing that transformation to happen in a way that is nourishing to you. So it could be that those ties that seem like they're loosening are loosening because it is actually in service of you that relationship transforms in that way. So allowing that transformation to happen, again, in a way that feels more in alignment with what is true to you, rather than if you feel like you can't speak, if you feel like you have to hold stuff back, always speaking with compassion and with kindness, but doing so in a way that doesn't put you last. You need to make sure that you are a priority as well as other people. What are some advice that we can offer you, group number 2, to help you turn these challenges into blessings? We have the Knave of Wands. So again, another new direction, and this time in a way that you are applying your energy. So it could be, again, if you're getting this with intimate partnership, intimate relationships, deep emotional ties in a relationship, could be that you've been using your energy, again, in a way that is not helpful for you. It could be that you have been trying to fill up their cup by exerting all of your energy to try to make them feel a way that you just can't do. You can't make anyone feel anything. You can only really generate your own feelings, and you can really only be responsible for your own feelings. So taking that new energetic push that will be coming through as the planets are moving around into more space beyond that restriction of Capricorn, and allowing that to bring you into this new direction with your energy and with your spirit. What can we offer you, group number 2, as some further unseen energies that you can call in for support and for help? And this time we have the Moon. Yep. This is a card that is typically ruled by Pisces. So again, that energy of water and of spirituality and of diving into the depths, calling in spirit. If you are into meditation, that could be a really great practice for this week. But the imagery of this particular card is so dripping with Cancer that this also says to me that there could have been something that came up in that full moon in Cancer that we just had that you might want to have a look at. It could also be an indication that you'll be very supported by doing some new moon manifestation rituals in this week. And also just looking to see how you're mothering yourself. The energy of Cancer and of the moon is mothering, of nurturing, of that motherly love, looking to how your home is, looking to what is working well in your home, and how you can build on those things that are working well rather than focusing your energy on the things that aren't working well. Really build on what's good. And again, really making sure that you're taking that time with this new direction in your energy to take care of yourself, in addition to taking care of others. You can't really fully love someone else unless you're first loving yourself. And our final little bit of advice for you, group number 2, about how you can best step forward. What is our best advice for you in the next week? We have the 3 of Wands. So this is expansion. That again, that energy coming into Aquarius at the end of the week, really allowing yourself to set your intentions to expand. Whatever may be changing, evolving, falling away from you, this is because it's supporting the expansion of your spirit. It is supporting the expansion of your possibilities. So allowing that expansion to take place and riding with it. And the background context, the overall context to the situation for you, and look at this 3, sort of turning this this inverted 3, this blockage in your throat chakra, this blockage in your ability to speak your truth, and letting that be an expansion to you, expansion to what the truth is for you, what your expression of the truth, what your understanding of the truth really is, the truth of this relationship that might be coming up for you. The overall background context for you, group number 2, we have the 6 of Chalices in reverse. So again, tons of watery, emotional energy coming up for you. This to me says you are being supported, or the challenge, the sort of background context coming up for you is some inner child work. So coming up in upright, the 6 of Chalices is a card that speaks about friendship, and really deep, again, intimate friendship, and sharing in that friendship energy. So it could be that there's a friendship that's not serving you anymore, and the way that you can really bring in the healing through this challenge that you're experiencing through your emotional body is to nurture your inner child. Look to how, whatever that inner child is, maybe this is something that came up for you. This is a program that you've been running since your childhood. It could be to do with a mother figure in your life, and how that has influenced the way that you think that you can mother yourself. Again, different messages for different folks. Take what resonates, but looking to how you can take care of that inner child is really going to serve you in this week ahead, group number 2. What are some words of wisdom from the flowers that we can share for you? The cards of the flowers that we can share for you, group number 2. We have Crocus, breathe, calm, rest, stop, and just be. Yes. So as I was saying, meditation is going to be a good practice for those of you who, especially for those of you who have an active practice. This is a particularly good week to do meditation, as is any week. But if you don't, this might be a week to set the intention that you begin to explore something like that in your life. We also have Lenten Rose, protection, conserve what you have and save a little. Yeah, so if you're burning yourself out, if you're really exerting yourself too much in service of trying to maintain a relationship that isn't serving you anymore, look to how you can cultivate that energy. Don't empty your batteries. Don't burn your candle from both ends. Keep something in reserve for yourself, so that you can use that to serve yourself, so that you can serve others. You cannot serve others from a cup that is empty. Making sure that you are able to do that bare minimum for yourself, so that way you have something to offer other people. And finally, we have Zinnia, absence. What is not here is the key. Yeah, so it could be that, again, if something is transforming by leaving your immediate experience, it could be because that is actually in your service, in a way that you're being offered to shift your perspective, to see how that is actually helpful to you, at least in the short run, and possibly also in the long run. And allowing that shift to come about will help you get into that space where you can bring something equal or even better in its place. Or to just let that transform so that it can actually be in service to you again. We have words of healing wisdom for you, this beautiful mountain pool with the mountain in the background. We have make clear, calm thinking your goal. Yep. So meditation is a great thing to practice this week. Set the intention to allow whatever turmoil might be coming up internally in the emotional realm to settle. Don't make so many emotional choices. Don't let be lower. So that's more like the emotions of the sacral chakra, which is to do with the emotional body, that sort of like speaking in anger or speaking in fear. Let those things go by the side and instead speak through your heart. The heart is the emotional center that is actually serving you, instead of letting the lower chakras, the sacral energy of lust and of consumption, but also of creation. Don't let that drive you as much as the higher order energy of compassion and love. And letting that clear, calm thinking be the guide for you to step out of that roller coaster of riding your emotions and as your emotions peak and trough and peak and trough. Instead, let that be something that you just sort of surf rather than you are subject to. All right, those are the messages that I have for you, group number 2. Thank you so much for letting me be your guide. I'd love to hear what you think about this reading in the comments below. And if you like this video, you might like to give it a like. And if it really hit your vibe, we'd love to have you join this community by hitting that subscribe button. You can be a part of how this channel continues to evolve. And until then, we're going to move on to group number 3. Okay, group number 3, what's coming for you in the week ahead, and how can you put your best foot forward to make the best out of whatever meets you in this week? Let's go ahead and jump on in. First, what are the energies? What are sort of the primary themes? How are you stepping forward into this week? Group number 3, we have the Emperor. All right, so you are in a space where you are really taking control of your life in a way that you are becoming the authority. So this could also be an indication of what you might want to have a look at your astrological chart where your Mars energy is, because this is a card that is ruled by Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. So bringing in that Aries energy of being quick to make your decisions and knowing from that inner being that those quick decisions, even though they feel impulsive, they are in alignment. When they are in alignment, they will flow with ease, and allowing that to happen. We also have for you some of the challenges that you might expect in the week ahead. Group number 3, we have the Tower in reverse. All right, so big archetypal energy coming in for you. Group number 3, sudden shifts, sudden breakthroughs can feel somewhat catastrophic. Again, coming out of this Capricorn season, lots of stuff came up for lots of people. The imagery of this card, we have a relatively firm foundation, so the foundations aren't really shaken from this situation, but it's this sort of mental breakthrough, again, shifting from the really grounded, feeling like heavy, like fortress, armored, really overbearing energy of that Capricorn season into this flash of new insight, this breath of fresh air into the Aquarius season. Coming up in reverse, this could be an indication that there is an internal shift that's going to be challenging you in the week ahead, or could be that this is where you're being, this challenge is actually a breakthrough, and the challenge for you is to see what that breakthrough is, even though it might not be completely comfortable, finding a space of comfort in discomfort, because that is how we grow. That is how we evolve. So instead of fighting that discomfort, allowing it to flow through and away. What are some of the unseen energies, unseen factors that might further be affecting you in the week ahead? Group number 3, we have the Hanged Man. Whew, yeah, big week for you, group number 3. Lots of archetypal energy, as I said. Major arcana cards coming up. So the unseen energies here, you're being called to bring in a change of perspective. And this is also a card that is all about water, ruled by water. So changing your perspective by tapping into the messages of your emotions. So not really getting tied up into, not really getting bogged down by things like fear and anger and other those lower unpleasant emotions, but just letting them speak to you, noticing when they come up, noticing what they're being evoked around, and how that might be a message to you for where you are in the status of your alignment, so that you can adjust and make yourself more available and more receptive to, again, this breakthrough that is coming through, because again, it might not feel good, but noticing how that feeling can help you redirect where you have been to, instead of try to break through a brick wall that's meeting you, pivot and find the open door that's right next to it. But you just need to shift your perspective to be able to see that. And the outcome that we can forecast to you, given the current trajectory, again with the knowing that you have the option to choose, and you can always choose to change things if they don't suit you. With the current outcome that you might be looking at for the week ahead, we have the King of Pentacles. All right, so this card really reminds me of a lower minor arcana version, sort of like a lower, less archetypal, more just like personal life events energy of Capricorn. So whatever's been coming up, this is a culmination of the lessons of this past Capricorn season, this past month, and really being a good provider. You can, through this energy that you're shifting, so we've got this, again, this a fatherly energy coming through, this divine masculine energy coming through. So leveling up in the way that you are providing for your family, providing for your life, the way that you are bringing about your financial well-being. Could be an indication that you're in a space where you're shifting your perspective on how you make your money, on what's going on in your career, and whether or not it's really serving you to be, again, providing that firm, stable platform, that foundation that your family, that your legacy can really thrive off of. So what can we offer to you, group number 3, is further advice on how you can step forward with your best intent, what you can set your intention to bring your best outcomes and your highest possible timelines through in the next week and onward. What can we offer you as ways that you can set your intent for the next week? Group number 3, we have the Queen of Chalices. All right, so almost the polar opposite of this Emperor card. So this is the minor arcana version of the Empress energy, and especially in the more emotional, nurturing domain. So you are in this place where you're being the boss of your life. You're really tapping up into that authority that you have in your own life and balancing that out, moderating it with the emotional, nurturing, loving energy, and taking account again of the emotions and letting that watery energy of your emotional body speak to you in ways that you can moderate the harshness that comes with this card. Because this card, like, this guy looks kind of scary, right? So, like, you don't need to be scary in order to get stuff done. You don't need to be intimidating. And if people tell you you're intimidating, well, that could be because they're not ready to change. But also, that could be another indication that you can be a little bit, it could be that you are projecting ways that you don't love yourself onto other people. Even though you might not feel any dislike for them, they're feeling your own dislike for yourself. So this could be an indication that you are welcomed and encouraged to take in more intention for how you can express yourself into the world by allowing yourself to be in love with yourself, and not in the sort of like an arrogant, shallow way, but, you know, treating yourself as you would a beloved other, a beloved partner, a beloved friend, and being gentler with yourself, and being more gentle with yourself will allow you to be more gentle with other people as well. So what can we also offer to you, group number 3, as a way that you can turn this challenge into a blessing? We have Temperance. Yep. So, card ruled by Sagittarius, all about expansion and adventure coming into Aquarius season. This is another season of adventure and of expanding the mind in particular. So, looking to see how you can cultivate this antidote to yourself. Again, we've got this chalices energy here. So, using your emotions to love into the challenges, love into whatever this unpleasant feeling that might be coming up for you, asking you to make that internal breakthrough and being your own antidote. So it could be an indication to some of you, again, moving out of this Capricorn energy. Capricorn is the energy that rules the Devil card, so the Devil card hasn't come up yet, but the Devil card is the one that comes right after this one. So using that energy to notice if you have coping mechanisms that are blunting your emotions, that are preventing you from tapping into the deeper meanings, the deeper lessons they're trying to get you to work through. So again, doing so in a way, again, I'm not a qualified medical professional. If that is something that you might feel called to, this could be an indication that you're supported in taking that shift in your perspective in how you're dealing with your emotions, because this is the big energy here. Big archetypal energy here to ask you to find a way to heal yourself. Heal yourself from the inside out by listening in to the emotional cues of your body. And we also have some further insight on unseen energies that you can call upon, group number 3, to help you through this time and this week ahead. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. All right, so a new direction, a new branch of how you are manifesting your physical reality. So that's the aces in the minor arcana are sort of that deep-rooted, up all the way up in spirit. It's not even to a point where it's subconscious thought. It's just all the way into the ethereal realm. But it's the root of the earth energies. It's the root of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Coming up in reverse, this may be an indication that you are a little bit too focused on the physical domain. Again, could be some indication to renew and redirect some of that stuff that came up through Capricorn season, and look to how you can ground within yourself rather than just allow the outside world to be directing you. So coming up with this Hanged Man, releasing these blockages or releasing these expectations that you have from what you have experienced in the physical world and the literal, the empirical manifested reality, and instead leading through the vision of what your heart is guiding you to. And our final bit of advice for what you can look to make the best out of the week ahead, group number 3, we have the Empress. Yep. All right, so you are really sitting in the space where you are wanting to be the authority, you're wanting to be a boss, and you are. But the best advice that we have for you, tying back into this loving energy, this tapping into your emotional maturity and doing so in a way that is receptive and loving and nurturing. Yeah. So you need to really bring in more of that divine feminine into this divine masculine energy. So the trajectory that you're on is being that good provider, being that financial backbone to your legacy, but you're also being asked to be the production of that as well, right? So you're not just providing it, but the Empress, ruled by Venus. Venus is in its exalted state in Pisces right now. Reveling in the finer things in life, reveling in the good things that are happening for you, reveling in family time, reveling in the emotional ties that you have, reveling in becoming, this could be an indication of parenthood or some degree of parent-like energy, being a mother to yourself, being a mother to whatever you're creating, bringing more of that motherly nurturing energy into the way that you're creating your physical reality is really going to be supportive for you, bringing both of these sides of the divine masculine and feminine together for you. Again, with these, like, we got court cards, we've got aces, we've got lots of major arcana, so a big week for you, group number 3. Finally, the background context to all of this, the back of the deck energy. Interesting. 7 of Swords. So the background here is that there is some strategery, some strategy that's been going on. Could be to do with this. Someone's on the hustle, trying to make a buck, and it could be that there's some deceptive energy with that, and that deception may not be serving you. We got this moon energy here coming up again, so under the light of this crescent moon and this energy, you might be trying to get away with something, and maybe called to rethink what you might be trying to get away with, or just that you're supported in being strategic, but strategic in a way that is also aligning with all of this nurturing heart energy, because if you're being deceptive, that might be also calling in the more unpleasant aspects of the Tower card that came up for you. All right, so some words of wisdom from the flowers for you, group number 3. We have Bird of Paradise, self-acceptance. You are so much more. Yep. So you are a multidimensional being. You have many facets. You're not just a money maker. You're not just a provider. You're not just strong. You're not just authority. You're not just a boss. You're also really loving. You're also really kind. You're also really gentle. You're also a really reliable friend and a reliable partner. And so noticing all these aspects of yourself and not just playing up this this boss energy, but also this mother energy that's coming forward for you too. Yeah, man, these are all guys, these are all ladies, except for these two. Cards do not lie. The cards do not lie. All right, so we also have Bluebell, gratitude. Be thankful for what is good now. Absolutely. So if you've been on the hustle because you want this future life, you're on the path. You're getting there. You are that producer, but you don't need to be there today. And you don't need to exhaust yourself trying to get there today. You're on the path. Let the path come. And be thankful for where you are and who you are right now. We have Gardenia, awareness. Wake up, roll the clouds away, and look. Yeah, so being, again, very open to what your emotions are telling you. Being aware of those things that you may have been trying to push down, push away, push back because they don't tell you the story that you want to believe about yourself, allowing that shift in perspective to come through the way that this is coming up into your awareness, and treating it with acceptance and with gratitude because it's there to serve you. Our words of healing wisdom for you, group number 3. We have use equanimity to calm your emotions. Yep. So I'm getting here that you've been in a space where you don't want to pay attention to your emotions. You think they're a bit dangerous. You don't want to, they might make you soft, and that would be the worst possible thing. So if you're taking this advice to tap into your emotional body and tap into what your emotions are telling you, this might be a new sensation for you. This might be something that could be very, again, uncomfortable. And letting this space of equanimity, so this is what we practice when we practice mindfulness, is just to be the observer. Going back to the collective reading, that King of Swords energy, being just the mindful watching observer, letting those things play out, noticing the stories that pop up, not attaching to them, and just seeing what they evoke for you, seeing what keeps coming up as you let more of that subconscious come forward so that you can let it go. All right, group number 3, those are the messages I have for you this week. Thank you so much for letting me be your guide through this reading. Please let me know in the comments below how this came for you. What are your perspectives on this reading? Maybe after the week is over, how this manifested for you, what you think hit home, what doesn't. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, you might like to give it a like. And if it really hit your vibe, we'd love to have you as a part of this growing community as the channel continues to evolve by hitting that subscribe button. And thank you again for letting me be your guide through these readings. I hope to see you again very soon. And until that time, as always, go in peace to love and to serve. Namaste.